Welcome to the Peachtree Podcast. Peachtree Learning Center is a nonprofit in Middle Tennessee dedicated to training and discipling students in all the fine arts to become excellent and skilled in order to spread the kingdom of God into the world of the arts. On this podcast, we will discuss topics designed to encourage, uplift, educate, and equip people to proclaim the kingdom more deeply in their own families and communities.
Welcome to this episode of Peachtree's Podcast. We are in the throes of summer camp season here. You might hear background noise from a big camp upstairs and another one in the great room today. We've got a lot of young people running through the building having a great time, and we're enjoying some beautiful sunshine after a weekend of lots of storms. And I'm here today with two sweet friends of mine who have come together to form a new entity that will serve homeschoolers in the Upper Cumberland and beyond. It's called Exodus Christian Academy, and the director is Jamie Thornsberry, and she's here with me along with her partner in crime, Adana Pryor. And so welcome to the podcast, friends, and I want you to just share where you've come so far on the journey of starting the new umbrella school that will serve homeschool families as a way to just administer their homeschool, and then give us your vision for the ideas you've had for events going forward and resources that you're going to make available, and how people can get in touch with you. So let's just start first with why in the world did we decide to start a new umbrella school here?
Well, thanks for letting us be here, Tabitha. Why in the world would we do something like this? And really the heart of it is to support our homeschool community here. Our homeschool community here in the Upper Cumberland has grown exponentially over the last few years as people have figured out that Tennessee is such a great place to live. And, for years, I've looked out on the homeschool landscape of offerings for support, and there are so many great umbrella schools, but it was kind of like there was one thing I liked over here, one thing I liked over there, one thing I liked here. And with this growth, I just felt like, this is an opportunity for us to kind of come together in a way that's a little bit different from what's out there, and kind of taking some of those things that I liked from all different places and combining them into one umbrella school to serve the needs of families in our community.
Okay, so for people who are new to this idea, or I know a lot of people are exploring options other than even private school and public school, can you share, Adana, tell us exactly what an umbrella school is and why you need one?
So in Tennessee, there are 3 ways that you can legally homeschool your children. The first option is to actually register with the public school system. And that is going to the school board, telling them that you intend to homeschool your student, and then you follow the public system's rules. So you would be under their guidance or under their cover legally. The second option is an umbrella school. And that's what Jamie and I are doing. An umbrella school legally covers you so that you can separate yourself from the public school system. And you would then follow the guidelines of the umbrella school. The third option is to register with an accredited online school. So what Jamie and I are doing with the umbrella school is that we are creating an entity that has guidelines that we have really been drawn to from the umbrella schools that she and I have used in the past. And we're doing some very basic things, but we're also wanting to make a lot of things available for all of the different types of homeschoolers that are in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm. So that's... I know in conversations I've had with you and along this process, it's been exciting to hear your ideas for ways you can support the homeschool community in this area that haven't necessarily been offered recently, at least. Mm-hmm. When we started homeschooling 20 years ago, there was nothing here and very few people homeschooling, and it still felt a little bit avant-garde, so they say. But to watch that blossom the way it has in the last 20 years, just in this area, it's been kind of astonishing. And I know part of it's a function of a defensive mechanism that people have reacted to things that they don't appreciate about the public school system. Private schooling has also exploded here. And then there's even a third option that people are using that's a 2-day tutorial. There's a hybrid school option, and you can register there, and your children go there 1 or 2 days a week and get all their schooling for the week, and they come home with assignments. And Peachtree even offers some academic classes, and it's an a la carte. You come and take a class that mom doesn't want to teach, or that you just really want to have social interaction while you learn, kind of thing. And that's been a great option. But all of those things can still fall under the homeschooling umbrella, so to say, or under that that second option.
Yeah.
So so going back to speaking to umbrella schools. So this umbrella will be a place that people could come and register all their children, and then tell us about how that structure would work. So they would register, and then what?
Yeah, so you would register, and you can find that information about registration on our website, which is exoduschristianacademy.com. There's, different fee schedules for different things, but it's pretty straightforward. We tried to kind of make it as simple as possible. And, Tabitha, what you touched on of all these different offerings is one of the reasons that we wanted to create this entity of Exodus, because our community has exploded, and there's all these resources out there that weren't offered before. Yes. And one of the things that Adana and I have heard over and over and over again is, well, have you heard about this? Or do you know where we could get that? And so not just being an umbrella school where you come and register and you've got that legal covering, but our heart is really to be a resource for parents to find the information that they need. And so we want to create partnerships with organizations like Peachtree, organizations like Classical Conversations, and the different offerings that are here. So on our website, you'll find a calendar and events page. And we highly, encourage people, if you're involved in something that supports our homeschool community, we want to be a support and resource for that. So please reach out and let us know what's going on, so we can put that on our website so people can easily access it. And then we've got a big vision. I mean, it's not just, offering this service so that people have that legal covering. Again, it's being that resource. So, and within our 3-year vision for Exodus is having a resource center where families can come, they can bring all their kids with them. Kids can play, train sets and different things on the floor while mom explores the opportunities and the options here in our area and curriculum. So within the next 3 years, we're going to be looking for a space for that. And then, we've just got things going out from there as far as how we would like to support our community here, and bring them together with different options, such as a curriculum fair. Adana has had the opportunity and the honor of being on the fair board, and they're, building this beautiful new space out off Tennessee Avenue. And so bringing a curriculum fair that families could access right here in our community is another option, that we want to bring within that 3 to 5 year mark.
I think that's a great goal. I myself used to go to a curriculum fair in Nashville with the Middle Tennessee Homeschool Association, and it was very encouraging the first few years I went. I didn't understand that the lack of scope there. I had no idea there was more beyond that. So I think my older daughter was in 5th grade. I got invited to go to a curriculum fair / convention in Cincinnati. 30,000 people from around the entire eastern seaboard of the United States. And I just remember walking into the convention hall and being completely overwhelmed at the number of options for curriculum. I had no idea, because it wasn't available to know all those things in our area yet. So I think it's important to note that this has not necessarily been a knee-jerk reaction as a competitive, we've got to get out there and do our own thing. It's more of here's another offering, and you'll be unique from the other offerings in this area.
Absolutely.
Because I think there's room for several, we've talked about this, room for several different approaches. Yeah. That's how we feel about Peachtree too. It's just an open hand before the Lord of, you give us the space, you give us the people you want us to have, and we'll serve them well as to the best of our ability. Absolutely. And I believe that spirit is also present in this endeavor. And for purposes of full disclosure, Peachtree is definitely partnering in some ways with Exodus to offer some space and support assistance as we can, and because we do believe that this is a great option and a fresh option to come alongside other options that are here. So we're not trying to poach and bring people off of other places, but really offering a fresh option for people who are looking. There might be some crossover, but that's okay. It's really not the point of it.
Yes, yeah. I think Jamie and I, when we first started looking for something to do, we both have a heart for homeschooling, and especially for homeschooling in the Upper Cumberland. There hasn't really been one single entity in the last 20 years that has provided a lot of information for everyone. And we wanted our heart was to really begin that and to start something like that. And our end goal was, hey, why don't we start by doing an umbrella school and then being that arm, that supportive arm for these families that are in the Upper Cumberland specifically. Both Jamie and I come from a position of not always having the resources to do all of the things that would allow us to travel to Chattanooga or to Knoxville or to Nashville, to some of these larger fairs. So it is a dream of ours to have a larger curriculum fair here in the Upper Cumberland eventually, so that we can support the people who are coming from more rural counties, Clay County, the counties that are in southern Kentucky, the counties that are in northern Georgia, some of those places that want to come into the Upper Cumberland and have resources locally where they don't have to drive for several hours to get that support.
Yeah, it was, you're making me think of the first year I went to Cincinnati, and I remember the people in the hotel there when we came in dragging our coolers and our prospective book fillable luggage. And having the porters in this really nice fancy hotel downtown go, what is going on down here? And walking out the next day and seeing large families all together going to this huge convention center. It was a beautiful thing, but it was totally foreign to the people downtown in Cincinnati. They had no idea what invasion had happened. But that was the closest one of those conventions at the time where I could go to get some real encouraging speakers, some thoughtful input, which was very helpful and encouraging. I always came home with way more books and ideas than we could possibly employ in a year. But I was so excited. It just reignited every year the love for being with my children and being in there learning every day and understand and just really cheering them on. I would come home so lit on fire. Yeah. And I've seen y'all talk about those events that you have planned, and I know that's what you'll be doing. You'll be igniting people's zeal to bring their children closer to them, closer to the Lord, and be in their educational process from the beginning. And I just think that's wonderful. It's something I've really come to embrace as a very beautiful way to live life. It's been such a blessing to our family. So it's not obviously the only way, but it is a beautiful way. And in these times, I think Christians really need to be thinking about ways to be more intentional with their families.
Absolutely.
So speaking of that, one of you tell us where the name Exodus Christian Academy came from.
So Exodus to me is, I think a lot of people think of Exodus and you think about leaving. But when I think about Exodus, I've actually spent the last 2 years reading about the life of Moses and his leadership of Israel in the Exodus. And it really left me with this lasting picture of not a leaving, but a leading. And I feel like that really encompassed to me my role as a parent of children. What God was leading them to, the Israelites, through Moses, was a relationship to him.
Right.
And to me, that's really become the picture of, I have one that's graduated and he's off to ministry school, and I have one, still in our home. And now that's really how I think of it, is I'm leading them through these years to what a relationship with God would look like. And so that really is where that name came from, of leading our children, through their wilderness into this place that God has designed for them, and giving them at those different stops in the road the tools and the information and the knowledge and the understanding, so that then they can walk the life that God has called them to. It's not a guarantee, but it is definitely, it's our call as parents to train our children in the way that they should go, and to give them all the opportunity to understand who God is, who he created them to be, and their place that he has for them in the world. And that's what Exodus means to me.
Yes, that's a great picture.
Yeah, it doesn't for me, because my children have all graduated. It is that continuation. Our inspiring verse was Exodus 14:14, which is, "The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be quiet."
I have that on a wall at home.
You need only to be still. And there are so many times in life where we need to understand, we need to just let the Lord fight for us. And in Exodus, he was doing that. He was bringing them out. And then when you get to what Joshua is doing, God is saying, I want you to do something now. I want you to cross over this river, and I want you to walk around this city, and I want you to shout. So there are times in our life when God asks us to be still, and there are times when he asks us to shout. And I really feel like a lot of my life before this in the homeschooling community has been, I want you to trust me. The Lord has just said, just trust me, go with this, and do what I'm asking you to do. And at this point, with my children grown, I feel like there's this strong need to say, hey, now you're at a point where I want you to walk around this building, and I want you to shout. I'm still doing the fighting, God says, but I want you to be
Partner
the one
with
who's
me.
walking and shouting. So I really feel like that Exodus is a perfect name for us, because it encompasses all of that. All of the things, all of the seasons of your life when God says, I need you to stand here. And the season when he says, I need you to cross a river. And the season when he says, I need you to walk. And then the season when he says, I need you to shout. So it's a beautiful, for us, it is that beautiful encompassing of the different seasons of your life. But it's also a lovely time for you to look at Joshua did and say, choose you this day whom you will serve.
Right. That's beautiful. Very sweet thought. Thank you for sharing that. And what else do they need to know if people want to go find out more about Exodus? We'll post a link to your website in the notes for this episode. What else do they need to know to understand the vision and then to pursue signing up with you as an umbrella?
Yeah, so registration is open, and you can do all that on our website. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram, especially over the next couple of months and through this year. We're going to be developing some online resources, some videos, and different things that people can access. Some of that will only be for families who register with us, but there'll be a lot of free stuff on our website. Again, this isn't about just us as an entity. This is about our community and strengthening our homeschool community. Adana and I know what it takes to be successful. We know all the tears and the joys and all the things that go into that. And that is our hope, is that no matter where you are registered with, that you will find success in your homeschool journey. Because especially in a rural area like this, sometimes that day-to-day can get really lonely. And if you can come on our website and see a video encouragement or read a blog article, then we want you to do that. And so we have a blog that's going to be going up. We've got some videos that we have planned that are going to go up that people can just find encouragement in. So registration is open, but find us on Facebook, Instagram, and on that website, and you can access all those things.
That sounds wonderful. I wanted to point out one last thing is that you have registered as a nonprofit. So there's not a community of families waiting for people to sign up. You're not out there trying to push yourselves into people's faces in unwanted places. Like, you're not trying to overwhelm everyone. You're really, really heart behind it. Your heart behind this is really to support and encourage and equip. And you're going to charge fees for that because there's resources being used to do that, and doesn't need to be something that overwhelms your own family with its pull. But donations are also available if somebody would like to donate to encourage that and to help you pursue that. That is a welcome thing, I would think.
Yes.
So that's an important thing to know too. There's no outside funding. You're self-sustaining at this point.
Yes.
So very important note that you've got skin in the game, but there's no other agenda. You just really want to encourage and equip.
Yes.
So thank you for sharing all that with us today. Thank you for coming on the
having
podcast,
us.
and I look forward to great things coming from Exodus Christian.
Thank you.
God bless you both.
Thank you so much for joining us today. To support this podcast, please go follow us on your podcast platform of choice. And if you're interested in knowing more about the work of Peachtree, please go visit our website at peachtreelearningcenter.com for more information.